Hi guys, Bushboy here. So this is the finished product of this tutorial. This is the thumbnail and I'm going to show you how to do this. Very simple, and I'm going to try and do it as fast as possible and just show you basically all the steps I do. There are different ways to do this, but I'll just show you all the steps I do. Now, I sometimes use Polygon tool or the magnetic tool. In this case, I'm going to use the magnetic tool, but the Polygon can be more helpful in some situations over others. But in this one, there's lots of lines and a very distinctive color difference from the tank that I want to use and the background. So we'll use the magnetic lasso, which basically just follows a line, and because the line that it's following is a very different color to the other lines that it doesn't follow. Now you can see there are going to be some peculiarities, but that's okay because we can fix that, and that's what I usually do. So it's selected now. Now there are some peculiarities, and what I usually do is I just zoom in a little bit, and then I use this tool just below it, which has an add and remove selection, and it's a selection tool that basically it uses this area and it will try to select stuff based on this area. So we'll just turn that down to about 10 or something, and we'll just whoops, I was selecting the wrong layer. Make sure you're selecting the layer you want to select, and I just press minus there and it'll chomp that off, and then I'll go down here and you can see that didn't get this bit, so I get the plus. We'll add to the selection, and it playing the game there, so I just get that right. I'll just quickly do this. So it's just a bit fiddly. That's why sometimes I use the Polygon tool, because you don't have, with the Polygon tool you don't have to do this as much, but you don't get as many curves with the Polygon tool. So we'll just fast forward through this because it can take a long time. Okay, so I finished tailoring it up and I've got my selection. Then I just want to, while selecting the layer, press Ctrl C. I make a new layer by clicking this one here. It makes a new layer, and then I press Ctrl V, and it pastes that selection on this new layer. Then I'm just going to hide this layer here. Now there are some peculiarities of this image, and what we're going to do is we're just going to adjust them based on our eye. So I'm going to use the Polygon lasso tool, and I'm going to try and make some straight lines here, and I'm going to try and just make this a little crisper along here, and this is just something I usually do because it's a little quicker just to do it this way, just to clean up the little bit that the magnetic does. Once you've made your little selection, you just press delete, and it gets rid of that little bit of scuff on the outside of the shape. There's a bit of scuff here, but I think it'll look okay. Just zoom in and have a look. Yeah, that already looks a lot better. Now the next step to get that overall look is simply going to add some text, and I just want to double check what my text looks like. Okay, so I just use my text and I go I think that was what it was. Now to make it the way I did, I press Ctrl T to transform it, and I squished it down a little bit just so I could fit it in here. That'll be good. And I just press Enter to finish the transform. Then I right click on the text file and I go blending options, and I add a stroke It's just like an outline. Very standard thing on when you're making YouTube videos to have strokes and stuff. And just have a stroke. And then I also add a shadow, a basic shadow, nothing special, like that. And I press OK on that. Now you can see the barrel here isn't quite right because it's hidden, and something you've got to learn about Photoshop is it's all about optical illusions. So what I'm going to do is just hide that for now, and I'm going to re-click on the shape that I created, and I'm going to get the magnetic tool, and I'm just going to outline this barrel. Not all the way, just far enough. So I've got this barrel. Now I press Ctrl C again and select it, and I make a new layer again, and a Ctrl V, paste it on the new layer. So we have this layer which is just the tank barrel. See? Now then we get our text, and we click and hold, left click, and we drag it in between these two layers, so that then this barrel looks like it's in front of the text. Optically illusion-y. And then I just make sure that the text is kind of how I want it, so it's still readable, but it's also kind of hidden a little bit. Pops out a bit more. Now something else that is missing is I haven't edited this layer yet. So I'm going to click on the tank, right click, blending options. And I'm not going to add a stroke because that looks really weird, but I am going to add a shadow. And I'm going to make this shadow a little bit darker for this purpose. And the last thing is adding another layer and putting it at the bottom this time, and then going over here and making sure you have selected the color you want, which is, I'm going to use white for this, and then just using the bucket tool and filling it in so it's white in the background. And that's how I made this shape. Thanks for watching, guys. Next week I'm going to go actually into vectors. I'm going to try and make this image that we have already into more of like a cartoony look, by just making it into different colored vectors. And yeah, thanks for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed, and if you have any questions regarding this tutorial, be sure to ask below and I'll try and help out as much as I can. See you in the next one. Bye.